Hello? 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 Is that hello? Can you hello? Hi. Hi. Give me a wave if you can hear me. Fantastic. Hello. So we're going to get started in about 5 minutes. Just wanted to draw. So I'm glad people are sitting down. It's me performing to an empty room. I am used to it, but I don't like it. So take a seat. We'll be starting in about 5 minutes or so. Just wanted to draw your attention to the project zone at the back there, where we're linking up businesses and projects and individuals who have talents. So yeah, we'll be starting in 5 minutes. I talk to myself. So yeah, see you in 5. Cheers.
Oh, could do that again. And then talk in front of that camera. Just for a second, just for a test. Testing, testing. Hey, hey, check, check. All right.
Hello there. So let's make a start. Take a seat if you're staying. Hello, nice to see you. Are you staying, going, walking out halfway through? I don't know. You're very welcome. Hello, come in, sit down. Nice to see everyone. Okay, so before we make a start on the talks, I'd just like to introduce Andrew Wheeler to say a few words about Place 21 and what this whole thing is about. Andrew. Thank you.
Hello, do take a seat as you come in. Plenty of seats down the front here. Can you all hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Good. So my name's Andrew Wheeler. I run a program called Place 21. Place 21 stands for a project-based learning approach to community and employment in the 21st century. So it's about projects and it's about joining up students with project ideas, with businesses, and introducing you to the world of work. So that's what Place 21 is all about. We've got a fantastic schedule today of businesses talking about how they want to work with the college, to work with you, to give you opportunities to find out what goes on in different companies. So we hope you're going to enjoy that. I want to just thank very quickly Valerie Watson-Brown, who's over here at the Thetford stand, who's brought the businesses together for this two-day thing. And I talk about 2 days. We had the most amazing day yesterday. I don't know if any of you were here, but where you're sitting now, we had a 50-piece youth orchestra performing. It was really quite incredible. Did anyone here who heard it? Oh, a few hands go. Yeah, a few hands. Good staff. It really was amazing. We haven't got such artistic creativity today, but we hope we've got some really good discussions for you. We want you to get involved, so if you look behind, you'll see some cards and some bits of yarn going across, a whole web of activity there. That is really showing you the complexity of work experience, how we try to match you up with the right businesses, and how businesses can find the right students to do work experience with them. Today is your opportunity to get involved, listen to what businesses have to say, and fill out the cards. You never know, this could lead to your ideal work experience next year. So do get involved, talk to businesses. There's a competition to win £100, and all it needs is you to talk to 3 different businesses, sign, get them to sign, and then post it in the box there. So there's lots of things to do, lots of things to listen to. I hope you enjoy the morning. Thank you for coming.
So let's get straight on. I would like to invite to the stage Neil Foley and Cassandra Fisher. Give them a round of applause as they walk up. Lovely. Okay, come take a seat and take a mic. Switch them on, that always helps. See, look at these pros, they know what they're doing. Okay, so Cassandra, Neil, just introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, hello everyone. Some of you may or may not have seen me and my team. I'm Cassandra Fisher, everyone calls me Cass. I am the work placement coordinator, so it's my job to coordinate all 3,000 of your work experience placements throughout your academic year. Some of you may be more familiar with my team of work placement officers. So some of you may know Pam. Pam, give us a wave. Okay, so Pam's a work experience coordinator officer for construction down at Milburn. We have Max. Give us a wave, Max. Okay, so Max looks after all the work experience now for industry placements in engineering, science, and computing. Some of you may know Hayley, who also does that area, who has now moved. So Max will come and introduce himself to you soon. We have Jane. I think we have some travel and tourism students in today. Give me a wave, travel and tourism.
Nobody. Okay. One travel and tourism. How do you run that course?
Fantastic. So you'll know Jane there. She also looks after all the business students as well. So work experience obviously is my area. Work placements in any form, work-related, industry placements, work experience, that's my job. So, Neil, what do you do?
Yes, good morning, everybody. Neil Foley from the Business Growth Club. What I essentially do, I come from Norwich in Norfolk. What I essentially do is spend all day, every day, talking to businesses, helping businesses grow, do that via one-to-one coaching, mentoring, workshops, presentations. So I have a pretty good idea in terms of the small business market as to what they're interested in, what their problems are, what their future plans are, if you like, for recruiting new staff, and indeed talking to students. So that's me, Erica.
Excellent, excellent. So obviously the students here will be familiar with the concept of work experience or work-related experience. Don't raise your hands. Nod at me if you are familiar. Yes, there's some nodding happening. Some bowing happening. Tell us. So there's these words: work-related experience, work experience. What is that the same thing?
Okay, so depending on the course, depending on the level, there'll be a different type of experience that you will need to get involved with as part of your course. And to be able to pass your course, move on to the next level, this has to be completed. For all level 2s, we talk about work-related experience, which means it has to be a simulated work experience which can be done both in college. We have our fantastic restaurants, we have our shops, we have our hairdressing salons, our beauty salons, all internally in the college. If you're a level 3, you will need to undertake an external work placement, which is work experience. And that takes place for 40 hours, or depending on your course, maybe more hours, outside of the college with an employer on their place of work, getting that real life experience. There is a new option, which is industry placements, which are an extended placement for 45 days. So you spend 3 days a week in college, or 1 or 2 days then externally as part of a project through Place 21, or as an employer's project for 45 days, which is 315 hours.
Excellent. Maybe this one for you, Neil. I mean, what would you say that businesses want from students when, obviously it's different things, but on the whole, what is it that they want from young people?
That's a good question, actually. I asked a number of the businesses that I advised from, in terms of saying, look, if we had a bunch of students, knowing I was doing some work with West Suffolk College, if we had a bunch of students, what would you want them to do? Because at the end of the day, in my experience of work experience, hasn't been brilliant, and it probably hasn't been brilliant from the students' viewpoint either, partly because you're thinking, well, I have no idea what the students' capabilities are. I've normally agreed to the work experience because as a favour to somebody, and the reality is, my productivity doesn't go up with a student because actually I've got to show you what to do. So with that in mind, I asked these businesses to say, well, given an open book, what would you want students to do? And actually the answers are really quite encouraging and actually quite inspiring. And on the back of the boards, I would urge you to go and have a look, because the businesses there are saying what they want. So businesses have got, if their primary function they're dealing with, they're juggling loads of different balls, actually life's difficult for small businesses. But they all have secondary projects that they would love to do but never quite get round to. And that might be something like Instagram, it might be social media, it might be a marketing thing, it might be a graphic design, photography. There's all sorts of things that they actually want doing. So the students could definitely help with that.
Absolutely. So almost we're challenging that perception that work experience is going in and getting us, one of these lovely young people to sort of stuff envelopes for a week. And and give them sort of something menial, that we're actually looking at their experience and how can businesses tap into their experience.
Yeah, very much so. That's the key one, really, because traditionally, I mean, it may be unfair to say, Cass, but traditionally, work experience hasn't worked for either party. So the student
Yeah.
gets bored silly. I'm frustrated thinking, why did I agree to this? I'm never ever doing this again. So actually, and I may put you off. So you may go, my first experience of work experience was with a firm of accountants. They taught me double entry bookkeeping, which I don't understand to this day. And what it did was forever put me off the world of accountancy. So it doesn't work. So if there's a better way of doing it by saying, well, what are the skills you've got? What are the things that you could contribute? What projects could you do that actually are my secondary projects? I'd welcome those with open arms.
I think you're absolutely right. And the world of work experience from students' point of view as well is changing. We have a perception about work experience that you just go and you just make tea and you try and find jobs to do for a week and you're sat there twiddling your thumbs a lot of the time. Well, that is changing for students, for businesses, because of these initiatives and what we're trying to do, building those relationships with the employer and finding those projects that students can do, making their work experience more meaningful. If you are studying a vocational area, you are now going to be doing your work experience in that area of business based on your career plans, what your hobbies are, what your interests are, what you really want to be doing, so that when you do your work experience, it could lead to so many opportunities now for students to progress on taking on for apprenticeships. We've got lots of case studies from this year where we have been trying to match up students to the correct employer, where as a direct result of their work experience, have been taken on by the company, have been offered high-level apprenticeships, have been offered university places as a direct result of their work experience. So this is now an opportunity that you can actually grasp with both hands and make it work for you, make it work for the employer, and everybody is in a win-win situation. So gone are the days of making tea. We need placements to be industry relevant, exciting, and lead to opportunities for you guys.
Fantastic. So, I mean, with that in mind, would you say that maybe out there in terms of work experience that there might be sort of students sitting here thinking, well, I don't really know what I want to do for work experience. Is there a limit on what they can do? Is there? Do you know what I mean?
We asked this question yesterday, didn't we? Who in this room knows what they want to do? 1, 2, 3. You know exactly what you want to do. 4, 5.
We mean generally sort of career, not go and have a sandwich.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
At this moment in time, not everybody in this room is going to know what they want to do as a career. You're studying a vocational area that is of interest to you. So work experience is not only an opportunity to find what you want to do, it's also to rule out those things actually you don't want to do. Because you might think you have an interest in it, you go and do some time with an employer and realise that's not for you. And that's okay. You can do as many hours work experience as you like with different companies to try and find that niche for yourself. Minimum is 40 hours, but you can do as many hours as you actually want to do to find that area of interest that really sparks your enthusiasm that you realise you want to do as a career or further study. It's okay.
Excellent. So what sort of, I mean, do we have any specific success stories? It's hard to say. You know, from our students from this year. So
that's another one for me, isn't it? That's another internal one. Okay, so yes, we have some amazing results this academic year, which we are case studying at the moment to advertise across to spark some engagement with other students. Well, if they can do it, I can do it. Kind of stories. We have lots in the construction department, where, as I said earlier, a direct result from employment and apprenticeships in Pam's area down at in Milburn. There is coming in the pipeline, obviously, with the industry placements, the longer-term placements that we've had, those students have actually been taken on by a majority of the companies because they have a longer time to show their personalities. So yes, we have some fantastic case studies, and these will be published So those studying with us next academic year will see all those get published to see actually what the results have been.
So we're talking here on my clipboard about skills convergence. So Neil, tell me what is skills convergence?
If you find out, would you let me know?
Okay, yeah.
I think skills convergence, the way I see it, is part of the problem that we all have in life, is that things get pigeonholed, things get into boxes. So you might, I know with Richard from Warren Engineering, you think, well, I don't want to be an engineer, but actually, you know, they need accountants, they need marketeers, they need all sorts of different skill sets. So it's getting used to the label. I think skills convergence, as I see it, is the employers are saying quite openly, the employers that I've been speaking to, they've got all these ideas that they want and skill sets they need, and is trying to match what the college delivers, the courses that you're on, to the skills that the employers are saying that they actually need. And forget the pigeonholing, forget the labels. We all have labels. But actually, employers need all sorts of different skill sets. What they also need is people with the right attitude. We've talked a bit about that before in terms of for work experience and when you're going to trial to see whether you enjoy working somewhere. I think sometimes with the young, dare I say, business is actually quite difficult. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of time to get a client and to hang on to a client and a valuable client. And what you're then saying is, well, you're representing my business. So if you're representing my business, you need to look the part. You need to be on time. You need to dress appropriately, etc., etc. Because otherwise I'm risking a great deal, aren't I? And that's part of the skills convergence, because it's partly about attitude, I think.
So, I mean, is there in terms of a work experience attitude, is there kind of one particular attitude that fits across most businesses?
Well, as we all know, and every student in here will know, we've got the 8 character strengths. Anyone tell me what they are? So we put a lot of emphasis on strength of character in the college as part of your connection sessions you do every week. And these are just as important in college as they are externally with every employer you go and see. You can't teach the attitude. You guys have to have that get up and go to go out and get the work that you need. In work experience especially, it's so important to make the right impressions on employers, because that will lead to your opportunities and your progression from there. So those character strengths that we instill in you in college need to be adopted and need to go with you out onto your work experiences and out into the world to get you ahead. And that's the most important thing. We can teach you the skills and get you the qualification, but it's the character strengths you need to then make your own way in life from here. So as you make the right impressions on an employer, they're more likely to want to work with you and take you further.
I think I would add to that. Bear in mind the skills that you're going to have. As employers, we're going to teach you our own set of skills, because you're going to come out with a set, but actually it's not necessarily directly what I need. So we're going to teach you anyway. So attitude becomes everything. And the other thing to remember is the world is very interconnected. So if you're with a particular employer, you may think, actually, this isn't the work that I want to do. It's decided that this isn't for me. But actually, that employer knows lots of other employers. Employers talk to each other. Employers actually collaborate enormously. You've got the Thetford Business Forum here represented today. They work together. So if you've come across somebody who's a good young person with all the right attitude, but they're not right for you, I can guarantee you we will find them a place, because good people are really hard to find. People are what make businesses. It's nothing. People are everything. So if you find a really good person and actually you display all the right attitudes, we'll find you work.
Excellent. So, I mean, if these, young people would take on their work experience and really kind of grip it with both hands, I mean, to what extent do these people here have the power to actually influence strategies within business?
Massively, because business people can be old like me. I'm old enough to probably be your granddad in some cases. So there's a whole sector of the world that I don't understand. There's the millennials and the rest of it. And if that's part of my market, then, we talked about Instagram earlier. Instagram's really important. My guess is a lot of you guys use Instagram. Older people don't. Or they're doing it to photograph their food. Where if you're in the B2C market or even the B2B market, marketing to businesses, Instagram's really important. So you, as young people, you can come with a fresh pair of eyes, a fresh perspective. You don't want to say you know it all, because you clearly don't. Same way as I don't know it all. So the more you can collaborate and say, actually, from a young person's viewpoint, actually, why are you doing this? Is there a better way? Here's an idea. Very few businesses are going to say, actually, we're not interested. They're going to say, actually, that's food for thought. Let's talk it through.
So almost it's kind of engaging these students with sort of businesses as well, and letting them know what's out there.
Most definitely. It's a cliche, but you guys sat here are the workforce of tomorrow. We talk a lot about growing our own talent at home. The recruitment is difficult at the moment within businesses, so students coming in is their fresh perspective on things. Young people, fresh minds into business can make a lot of difference to businesses, the way they work. You can change things. You are the game changers right now, coming up to be the next generation of companies and businesses with succession planning, etc. So it's really important. We don't want the youth of Suffolk to go outside of the areas. We want to keep you here and recruit within, and train you to be the next managers, the next CEOs of all the companies that are here, everywhere within Suffolk that we work with. We have a bank of so many different employers that we can call on. So based on what it is you want to do, what inspires you, what areas of businesses you want to go into, we can find you that position to give you the work experience you actually want. Who here has done work experience this year? There are more than that, I know this. Okay, so you've all had an experience this academic year. The more we work on this and build up our relationships, the more meaningful these work experience is going to get. It's changing at the moment, and it's changing for the better. Things aren't perfect at the moment. We are working on that tirelessly, me and myself and my team, and all the businesses here, to make sure that work experience going forward is no longer making those cups of teas. They are industry relevant to what you're studying, and they will bring with them opportunities for each one of you. Is Mia here? Mia here? Your hand up. So Mia's done some work experience, I know this. Stand up for me, Mia. So, where did you go to? Go Ape in Thetford. And just tell us about your experience. Oh, hold on, Mia, I think you've got a microphone coming. Just going to put Mia on the spot.
All right, come talk to me.
Hello. So they put me into all 5 of their departments. So that was financial, events, marketing, the people, and marketing, events, and business development all were one. And they got me to develop their website, their Connect team, how they connect with their staff, all their recruitment and training, how they can just develop as a whole. And then they sent me to Go Ape themselves, and they put me into 2 of their courses, so the Tree Shop Challenge and their segues, and how prices can affect students as a whole.
Okay, thank you, Mia. So you're studying travel and tourism, so that placement was relevant to what you were studying, and you enjoyed it? Yeah, fantastic. So a meaningful work experience placement there. Sorry to pick on you there, Mia, but this is what we're striving to do. So all placements will become that for everybody who's studying that industry area.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Mia. And I have to say, I haven't moved that quickly since about 1997, so thank you for that. Just a couple of final words then from you, Cass, and from you, Neil, to sort of to sum up.
I guess from my viewpoint, I've been greatly encouraged. I've done some work with some of the students at Charles Burrell Centre and the Creative Diploma here these last few months, and have been hugely encouraged with the quality of the students that I've been working with. Sometimes it can be quite tricky being young. I do remember it vaguely. The world is a difficult place, but actually the world is a tremendous place in terms of the opportunities that are around. we're not actually screwed. There's a temptation to think the world is going to pot, but actually it isn't. Technology will solve a lot of the world's problems, and the young people like you will solve a lot of the world's problems that old people like me created. But at the end of the day, I'm very optimistic about the future, and I've been greatly encouraged with the work and the students and the quality of the students I've seen here, to be honest, Erica.
Thank you.
Okay, so last word from me is obviously that work experience will be continuing. It is no longer one size fits all with regards to work experience. You control. The onus is on you, guys, and it needs to fit with employers. There are so many different options for work experience now. You can do it as a block, or you can do it as 1 day as a week. Whatever fits in with you, your studies, your employer, there are ways to do it with the right employers in mind. We just have to have those conversations, and you need to drive what it is you want to do. So don't let anyone send you anywhere that's not relevant. We will work with you to find that relevant work experience to give you the best results possible.
Absolutely. So it's all about you, guys. So let us know. Cassandra and Neil, thank you very much, and thank you to Mia. Okay. I've just got a little add in. I would like to introduce Mike Mulvihill. Take a mic, Mike. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing.
My name's Mike Mulvihill. I'm Director of Service Industries here at West Suffolk College, which is a fantastic role, which I'm very proud to have. So I look after catering and hospitality, which includes Edmonds and the training kitchens over there in Australia House. I oversee hair and beauty and media makeup, also in Australia House. So basically all of the service industries comes under me. Another thing that we're very proud of here at West Suffolk is the fact that we manage all our own facilities for you guys. So they're all managed by myself, West Suffolk College staff, and the students who are on work experience. So it's quite a big operation and quite a fantastic job. And this is my second time here. I started here many years ago as a part-time lecturer, eventually made it the head of school, and then went off to start a new department at a college in Dagenham in Essex. And then I came back to Cambridge for a little while, and then I went down to Hackney. I was lucky enough to work in the East End of London during the Olympics, and all of my team worked for the Olympics for a company by the name of Baxter Story. And my restaurant in that college was in a very trendy part of London at the moment, out in Shoreditch and Hoxton. And then saw all the ambition that was happening here back at my hometown of West Suffolk College, so was lucky enough to get a job back here. That's where I am now.
Excellent. And tell us a little bit about the restaurant and the award.
We're very excited with our restaurant at the moment, which is Edmonds over there. Hopefully some of you might have been there or wish to come there. We've hosted some fantastic events there. It's the college restaurant is basically there to train our students to get ready for a career in catering and hospitality, be that in the kitchen, be that in the restaurant, on the bar or reception, whatever. It's a very good restaurant. It's staffed by a fantastic team of people that I'm lucky enough to manage. It's open to the public every day of the week. We do events such as private parties. We work very closely with our colleagues over in Conservatoire East, Hair and Beauty, doing joint events with them. We've done formal dinners. We've done guest chef nights. We've had the Roux family, who are very famous chefs that come to the restaurant. We're fully commercialised, so we can host anything. We have our own wedding license, so we've hosted weddings there, private parties, fine dining, buffets, parties, everything. And it's all completely managed by the students, who are obviously looked after by the team, the events team, and the chefs. And it's very busy. We decided about 6 months ago to really go for it, and we applied to become an AA Rosette restaurant, which is the same as what you'll see with people with Michelin stars all around the country. A very, very long process to apply for that. Had to put a big paper application form in, and then basically we were inspected by the AA on a lunch. And we were lucky enough to come away with the most highly commended award which you can have, which is a 2 rosette from the AA Michelin Guide, and also we are a gold service for food and beverage service, which is a great honour for us. We're going to take one step further now, tomorrow, and again working with my fantastic colleagues in Conservatoire East and Music and Media, is that we're actually going to go for the College Restaurant of the Year for 2019-20.
Okay, and I feel a bit like Paxman now. Andrew has a question.
Mike, we've only got a minute or two because we must get on to the next act. But I particularly wanted Mike to come down. I know he's in the middle of a meeting, actually, so it's really lovely just to quickly have him here to talk about all the work that's going on with the restaurant, the fantastic accolades you've had, and so on. But this is really a call to arms because we want to refit the restaurant. We think Place 21 can help with some of the skills, but there's other stuff to do. There's businesses that could get involved. Do you want to, in 30 seconds, just sum up what you're looking for in the coming months?
If you have a skill, we can use it, basically. Anything, any visions you have, any styles, any fantastic skills in any of the practical areas, any businesses that would like to be involved. We are the 16th best restaurant in Bury as far as TripAdvisor. We have some great accolades. Some people have got some great careers with working alongside us, and we would love, absolutely love, anyone within the West Suffolk College family to be involved in the refit. If you want to have a look at it and what our vision is, if you see those 2 charming ladies over there, they'll take your names if you're carpentry, plumbing, art, design, fashions, textiles, everything. We have a need for everybody.
Lovely, thank you very much. Give Mike a round of applause. Thank you. We'll be back in 5 minutes, have a very quick break, and we will be talking to CAMVAC. Thank you very much. See you in 5. Hello. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, new people. Hello. Now we're going to talk to CAMVAC, and I would like to welcome to the stage Emma Clay, Richard Kerry, and Steve Jackson. So, take a microphone each. Are you on? Are you on? Are we on? So, Emma, tell me about the work that you in science have been doing with CAMVAC.
So basically, I want to say it was about January, February time. Andrew came over to me and went, "I've got this really interesting company in Thetford, and they would really like a science student. Can you sort this out?" So within a week, we had 2 candidates that went off for an interview, and Maisie has been going great guns in their science lab, and in terms of what I've seen in her has been an amazing change just by going out to this work placement. So she'd been a bit behind on her studies before, and she's come back with renewed rigour, and even beyond that, instead of doing the 20 days that I asked her to do, she's actually going on to try and complete her whole 45 days with these guys just because she's enjoyed her work so much. So they've had a massive impact on both her study programme and on her aspirations.
Excellent. So, Richard, Steve, tell me about what it is that you guys do.
Should I do that? Is it working? Yeah. So, one slide here. We're a manufacturing company based in Thetford. We've been in Thetford for over 50 years. Company started in Cambridge. We're a specialist producer of very high barrier packaging materials, which are used for a variety of these products here. Most of what you'll see will be food packaging, but we also supply sort of construction, industrial markets. And effectively what we do, we produce materials that protect products that we pack. So a lot of food products you'll see, if they weren't packed in these types of materials, would spoil and be thrown away. So very topical with all the environmental issues that are going on at the moment. But also in the whole construction industry, it's all about making new build houses as energy efficient as possible. So all the strand of what we do.
So in terms of our students, what was it that they brought to your company?
I think that Maisie has been helping in the lab develop our shop floor database, which was something that had kind of stalled, and we did need some help with that.
Excellent. So in terms of opportunities for the sort of for the future, what as a company do you think these students out here can bring to you?
Well, these guys are the future for industry. So I've been at CAMVAC a really long time, and I think sometimes maybe we can keep looking into ourselves, where somebody from outside, especially someone with a completely different viewpoint on not just business but life, can be very good for us to bring in some new things to CAMVAC.
Absolutely. And so is it a kind of again, we were talking in the last talk about a challenge to perception. Like, I think that works both ways. So we were talking earlier about, what is the perception, do you think, that students have of work experience in manufacturing, and how can we challenge that?
Well, that was interesting. I was talking to Andrew earlier. I went to quite a good school, the grammar school in Thetford. I went to King's Lynn College, and my memory of the careers advice was almost non-existent. I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do through school and college, and I didn't have a clue what was out there in industry. So I think if I'd had the opportunity to go into various businesses and understand what companies actually do in the real world, I think it would have helped a lot. So I think what we'd like to offer students is just the opportunity to come and see our business and get an idea of what we do. So clearly you can work with us on projects to help us, but I think from your point of view, if you can actually see what a manufacturing company does, the fact that we have laboratory work, the fact that we have accounts functions, we do purchasing, I've spent most of my career jetting around the world selling, which I think has been absolutely fantastic. May not be for you, but I'm sure a lot of you would like to jet around the world selling on behalf of a business. Yes, we do make stuff where you have to get your hands dirty, and that may be for you, but I think the key thing is if you can come in and actually get an idea of what we do in total, you may say, yes, this is for me, no, it's not for me, but at least you've got some education, some ideas of what's available in business, rather than just what you're told at college. So I think that's the key thing for us. Actually, you help us with projects, but you actually come in and see what's available, and it may actually shape your career going forwards.
So has taking on these students actually changed what you think about how to employ for the future as well? Has it, because obviously you've got 2 work placements, so these are big work experience people. Have you now had some new ideas about going forwards as well?
Yeah, I think over the years we were what I call a very traditional employer. In these days unemployment levels are very low. That obviously hasn't been the case over the past 20, 30 years. It was very easy for us to recruit going back. Someone in the company knew a mate who wanted a job, you employed them. We used to go ex-military years ago. If you had a military background, you get a job at Canvac. It was very, very easy. I think the world has changed now in recruiting. We're having to do a lot more work in different areas, but I think that's helped us in the fact that we are now open to more ways of recruiting, and I think the work experience route, I think we're now seeing is very valuable because we're getting a different skill set, different ideas, different ways of working. We're not particularly good at automation in our business. We're not particularly good at IT, and I think we've noticed with some of the work experience students we've had in, that's been a real advantage for us because it's a completely different mindset how to tackle problems than we've had in the past. So I think if we complement that with some of the more traditional areas sometimes, that can work very well for us going forward.
So everyone, this is Maisie, who has been in their science lab with them. So Maisie, for you, what's been the big difference between being able to go out into the workplace and your study days here at college? Apart from the fact that you have to be on time to work.
It's more responsibility, and I've learned a lot going there.
Would it make you think about when you finish your studies here, would you want to then carry on with this mixture of studying and being in a workplace, or would you want to go fully into work after this, or carry on with just pure study?
I think I'd definitely like to do work after this.
And is this sort of open up your eyes to being sort of on the coalface in a laboratory and taking ownership of projects and coming up with new ideas for a business as well?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I think that's actually a good point. You guys are going to be at work a long, long time, probably longer than I'll have to work, with the changes of how the pension is going to be changed. And you're probably all sitting there thinking now, oh, what's he on about? But I've been at Canvac over 30 years, and I can promise you that has gone by very, very quickly. And the decisions you are making now are going to affect the rest of your lives. So for someone to come into industry to just experience, get a taste of that, that could help you make the decisions so you can make the right choices for you.
And we were talking earlier about the fact that if I'd asked you at their age, would you be a salesman? And you went, no way, ever. What can you tell them about, it's not about that experience where, yes, you're going into business and you're going to be in a career potentially for a long time, but it's not a static thing, is it?
No, I did some work experience at Canvac actually when I was 17, I think, before I went to college. It was a kind of few weeks on the shop floor running the machines. I then started work at Canvac actually as a stock control clerk. And I was saying, if you'd said to me all those years ago that you will have a career in sales, I think I would have run a mile. But I think the key point there is I got into a company. I was doing a job which was a stock control clerk. But I think, I think the previous panel mentioned attitude, and that really is key. I think, I went in, I demonstrated that I was keen to learn, I think I was a bolshy little bugger, as I remember at the time, always questioning stuff and why are you doing this and why are you doing this, etc., etc. And I basically got promoted to different areas, so stock control, production planning, eventually got into customer service, and then a job came up in sales. And as a sales, I suddenly had to drive around the country and go and see customers. But I think it was the fact that I was just keen to learn and take on new challenges. And suddenly, for me personally, this world in sales opened up. 22 years old, company car, driving around the country, then started to go into continental Europe, then started to fly around the world, all kinds of countries around the world. And suddenly I found something that I enjoyed. But it was a world away from where I started at Canvac. And I think, again, that idea of if you've got the right attitude and you want to get on and soak up information and challenge and show that you want to get promoted, etc., etc., you will get on in business. I guarantee it. But you need that attitude to start with, and that's really important.
So unfortunately, Thomas had to go off to his computing lesson, but we were speaking earlier about his journey, even in the time that he's had with you. So you had initially wanted him working with you on the Health and Safety Fund, didn't you? But he actually helped develop into a different area. And how do you think that's benefited him and you?
He started off helping out with some health and safety things. I feel that for this to work, there has to be something in it for both the company and the student. So our idea, our model, if you like, is to try and get the guys that are coming in to help us to do a project, if we can. And he started off helping out with health and safety, but chatting with Thomas, I realised that he's heavily into IT. So we've got a shop floor database that's not doing everything that we need it to. So he's been helping out those guys. So the health and safety bit has kind of taken a little bit of a back seat, but that does mean there's plenty of work for somebody else to do on the next placement. I like to think that I've helped Thomas developing things that I've picked up through my career, if you like, a to-do list. Sit down and working things out like that. He's been helping me doing some safety inspections, so he's now taken over doing the inspections for the canteen. So that's taken a bit of work off of me. So he's been very helpful.
Maisie, for you, when you've had that chance to develop a project, what type of things has that helped you develop as a person? Because you were talking about the fact that it was that extra responsibility, but are there other things that you've experienced in that lab setting? So obviously we talk a lot about character strengths at college. So which ones of those has it helped you with? Has it given you more confidence, or has it given you different ambitions? What sorts of things has it helped you with?
It's definitely helped with my confidence and my ambition, because I want to see more and see where I can improve.
Perfect. Is taking on a student...
Sorry, but there is a little point there. When I always do an induction for anyone that's new, and I did the guys, and we're coming past Steve's office, and I said, oh, by the way, this is Steve, manager director. They're all like this. They're all like rabbits in the headlights. And I think Steve mentioned it afterwards, we were chatting, and I hope that coming in, meeting the boss, meeting the managers has helped the confidence, which is another thing that a business placement can help you guys with, because things, when you do go out into the big wide world, you're going to need interview skills, you're going to need a certain amount of confidence, and that can help you.
Excellent. We're going to have to wind up the time now, but just before we do, could we just maybe each of you kind of button line it, or as it were, to say what this project has meant for you?
For me, it's given me a chance to work with a totally new business and actually realise that my students can contribute something really novel to it, rather than just before we only ever did the 2-week placement, and we've never had feedback like this with a company where then they're opening the doors saying, actually, you could come round and have a look at the labs and things like that. So actually that deeper relationship with the business has actually been really good for me.
It's been great working with young people, and maybe helping them develop.
Excellent.
I think the students may not end up working for CAMVAC, but I think as quite a large employer in Thetford, I think we've got a responsibility to try and help the next generation of employees understand what we do in manufacturing. And things have been talked about, the way you present yourself, the way you shake hands, the way you dress, turning up for work on time. All those kind of things are so important in business going forward. So if we can just help you in some small way further your career in a manufacturing or in business or whatever you do, then I think we've kind of helped to play our part in your development and kind of, developing that next generation of employees for the country. So if we can tick that box, then fantastic.
And Maisie?
Yeah, it's been a lot of great, and I've really enjoyed working there, and it's definitely helped me a lot.
Lovely. So thank you to Maisie, Emma, Richard, and Steve. Can you give them a round of applause, please? Okay, stick with us. In a few minutes' time, we'll have an update on Maximus, our feature film.
and that I might open it up later. Hover if you want me to.
Is it 11 o'clock? I'll get all up, I'll get everyone to sit down and I'll introduce you. And
So you see me sit on the sofa. I've been out all night. Don't ask me anything. Don't ask me anything. Ask the question and get it answered.
I know we've got time, so we'll do lunch. Leon's going to join.
yes, I've got that.
So I just want to speak to panicking.
What
We
you're
only just
actually
told him.
doing. Okay. Okay.
So I've just got a few things to obviously
It's going to be about like how did it come about? You know, is it just a mechanics project or is there more to it? What stage is it at? You know, I'm sort of.
Are you going to be asking us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I was going to have to like.
No, you don't do talk. You just sit on the sofa and I'll ask a question from you.
I'll message that stuff down because obviously me
Yeah.
engineering and that then printing and modelling for it, so in the future, so something that I can come back by this.
So what I want to do is I'll just ask you questions about that, and I'm kind of going along this, you know, past, present, future, as in what's already happened, what's happening now, what's happening. Yeah, it's 10 minutes. Good, yeah. All right. Yeah, it's that way. Yeah. Hi there. We'll be starting in a couple of few minutes. That's a very Suffolk phrase. Couple of few. So if you want to take a seat, if you're staying, feel free to do so. If not, it's me talking to empty rooms again. Flashback. My traditional thing of, are there more people on the stage around? It has happened to me. For a second. So I'm not going to share myself, I'm not going to put myself, but I'm just going to do the intro, show the video, and then I'll back off and both students are going to sit on the sofa with the one. I'm not one of the they're both in the video. They're both the students, so from the video. See, that's what I might say, isn't it? They're trying to do it themselves. Yeah. Really cool, yeah, they're doing it brilliantly. I'm a talent, I'm not doing tech. Right, we're going to have to make a start. Yeah. Okay, we're going to have to make a start on this. So please, people standing, come and take a seat. Come take a seat. Come and watch us. No, they're making a beeline. Come, sit down, or just, or come sit down, take a seat. Nope, or leave the room. Alternatively, it's fine. Happens to me all the time. Right. Okay. So we will crack on. I'm going to just introduce to the stage the Maximus team. If you'd like to come up and join me, thank you.
Yeah, go on.
See, the least people and the biggest round of applause. Check you guys out. Right, just take a mic each, and if you could just introduce yourselves for me. So switch. So you might want to switch it on. Helps.
My name's Henry.
My name's Tom.
I'm Ellie. I'm Shauna.
Excellent. And you are all from media production level 3, and you're all in your second year.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay, so we heard a little bit about Maximus last year, but could one of you just sort of sum up in I suppose it would be in a tagline, what this is all about?
Okay, so Maximus is basically the story of like a young boy called Max who got diagnosed with childhood leukemia, and essentially the story of the film is his sort of like arduous journey as he like sort of recovers and deals with it, and it's also about his family dealing with it as well. So sort of like showing the struggle, but basically showing like all sort of parts of it, so the good parts, the bad parts, essentially exactly how it was.
Excellent. And you are all, as you told me earlier, you were all, is it unit leaders?
Yeah, unit managers,
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Henry, tell me what's that mean?
Basically, there's 7 unit managers, and we have kind of our small little group where we kind of organise events to raise money for the whole production, to kind of put towards equipment, better equipment. Obviously, if you have better equipment, better cameras, it's going to look better. And that's kind of what we've been doing, and we've been finding actors kind of in the local area, Suffolk, Norfolk, to work on Maximus and just play the roles of Jodie, Danny, Maximus's mum and dad. And we found two young children, but like both different ages, but look like the actually like Max. So yeah, just stuff like that, just finding actors and stuff.
So is the whole thing cast now?
Yeah, we had a casting event in July where it was put out nationally. We had over 300 applicants for it, and the casting event went well. We're just waiting for the lead actors to be cast, and then we'll do the smaller roles.
Excellent. So what stage is it at the moment? Where are you in the filming process?
So we're just kind of getting everything ready to then start doing pre-production and then go into production in July. So we're shooting a pilot, which is like a short, almost like a trailer, so that then it can get bigger and get more funding and things like that.
We're essentially going to be showing it off to different like producers so we can get funding and basically gain more traction for it and hype for the film essentially.
And what's the in sort of, I'll go ask all four of you, what has this project meant for you in terms of your skill set, your education?
I think working on, like we're used to working on like really small productions, but working on a larger production and being, in charge of a team and having to organise different things, it's a lot different to maybe working with just a few people in your own production. So I think for all of us, it's probably given us a good idea of, what a real production is like. Yeah, I'd say the same, like just how many little things there is to sort out before you can then get into the pre-production stages and production. And also I think it's been nice to be like a unit manager and have like meetings and see what goes on behind the scenes as well, so yeah.
It's shown me sort of like, it's given me a lot of insight, as Ellie and Sean have already mentioned, into how an actual feature-length film is produced. It's not a very quick thing at all. It can take a very long time to get it going, but eventually once you sort of like get things in motion, you have to obviously go to meetings, you have to coordinate with other people, but it's been really insightful and it's obviously given us a lot of knowledge on how to actually produce a full-length feature film, which will give us a lot of help in the future.
I agree with everyone. Person.
that's fair enough.
We've got a new software as well called Studio Binder. Well, it's not new, we've just never used it. And that's something that production companies use. So it's something that we've learned how to use. So you have like your props department and everything like that. And we did a little session with it and we wrote down all the props and then you send it to the props department. So you separate everything and then we had different tutors on each thing, sorting everything out. And we do that within our group, so each, all 7 of the unit managers then have a select group of students that we kind of manage, and that's what we did with Studio Binder. We all got into our groups and then all went through it together, so it was quite nice and that's with all the years within the media department, so yeah.
That's excellent. So you're actually kind of teaching your peers through this project as well?
Yeah.
I mean, how, in terms of a feature film and what's the word, real does this experience feel? Do you actually feel like you're in a proper, rather than being a student at a college who's getting a qualification, do you feel like you're actually there in terms of a real work experience?
I'd say definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when, I think the moment personally for me when it first started to feel the most real was when we were both doing like casting for the actors, and when we started looking about for locations, that was like reaching out to people and being like, could we possibly like use your location as a venue for filming on? For example, I reached out to Ixworth House, and we're currently like talking with them right now about the possibility of filming with them, which is quite sort of surreal when you think about it. Like, holy shit, it's like a really, really big place.
I think, yeah, like especially when we're in the meetings with different people, like we're in touch with what is the charity with Gina?
G-Wiz?
Yes, G-Wiz. We're in touch with them, and we have like meetings with Gina, and she's got so many contacts that it's just almost surreal how many, like who we can get in contact with.
just through knowing people. And yeah, I think it definitely feels like a real production.
I think as well we've kind of been a part of it from the start. So the year before us were involved as well, and then it's been passed to us, and it'll be passed down to the next year. And we were all involved with the scripts and picking the writer. So we've kind of been a part of it from the start, which is really nice.
I feel like the big thing about this project is like patience, because it's going on for such a long period of time. You've got to, because obviously Maximus is growing up, and I feel like what Ben Pryke has done here, he's got something really amazing. And if he's kind of, because we were going to set a date to film, was it December? This year?
Yeah, we've been pushed back a little bit.
But like, he needs to get kind of more backup from production companies like Smoke and Mirrors in London. And I feel like if he does that, you know, he's got something going from there. I feel like this can be a really big thing, honestly, because the story, it's really sad. You know, there's drama between conflict. You know, it's got everything.
And it's a true story, isn't it? It's a, you know, and I remember Ben saying last year at this very event that, you know, one of the things about it was the fact that once it was like once he kind of started looking into the story, more and more happened. So, where are you guys going in the future? What are you doing? Because this is your last year here, and is it, you know, are you?
Well, oh, you mean in September this year?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to university, Ravensbourne.
Right.
Doing edit and post-production.
So I'm planning on taking a gap here and there, and I'm going to go off and study writing and screenwriting for both theatre and film at Anglia Ruskin in Cambridge.
Oh, excellent.
So I'm travelling around for a year, but I'll be around so I can help out when needed. And then I'm going to Ravensbourne as well.
I'm hopefully going to Escape Studios to do animation.
Excellent. So how does it feel then being part of this project that's got such a longevity and a legacy? How does that feel?
Wow.
I think it's amazing, really, like how it has grown like a lot. Like we were there when Ben first pitched it to us all, and like going through the whole story and seeing it, you know, we've seen it develop quite a lot. And I think as well we got the chance to meet Danny and Jodie, who's Max's parents, and that was a really nice experience to actually kind of meet them in person. And of course, it is a real story.
It made it a lot more real and believable.
Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, everyone working on it, we're going to be featured on IMDb, which is obviously a very big film website. That just looks great for our CVs.
Yeah.
We're more likely to get a job in the film industry. Great for university applicants, and yeah.
Especially from both.
It's a really good
It benefits us a lot.
Yeah. How amazing to, you know, to go along to an interview and say what you know. So what have you been doing at college? And going, oh yeah, we're making a feature film about a true story.
Yeah, at like uni interviews and stuff, that's always what they want to know about, is like, oh, so what's this all about? And you tell them and they're like, oh my days, I can't believe you're doing that already. And it's like, yeah, it's amazing.
So, I mean, have there been sort of any you know, what have each of you, what's your biggest achievement from it? You know, and maybe phrasing that differently, what's the sort of almost the biggest challenge you've overcome?
There's so many.
None.
Yeah.
There were no challenges.
As Tom said, there's so many. Like, I think for a lot of us, it's probably we were appointed to unit managers because they thought we could handle a group of people. So I guess we've learned how to, you know,
Juggle
be a
lots of
manager.
different
Yeah,
things at the same time as well.
It can be
We've
quite
learnt how-
taxing trying to like manage a bunch of people, and then obviously having to speak with other managers and coordinate with like so many people, and then obviously that's not including networking as well with the other people we've got to work with. It's like obviously communication is a very big hand in it, so even communicating, even though it might seem a bit small on the surface, is quite a big deal, and that's quite a big challenge to overcome.
It's
No,
it's quite challenging being a manager of your peers as well, because a lot of people, like if they're not as interested as you are, then it's difficult to be like, come on guys, and then a few hours later.
So
be like,
the motivational aspect of it.
Yeah. I was going to say professionalism as well.
Yeah,
Like I remember when we were with Gina and we were sending the emails off to the actors and the locations, we did a first draft, and it was really good to see her, you know, pull it apart almost. It was good to know what was good and what was bad, and see how professional you have to be.
You have to be very critical of yourself in a project like this, constantly evaluating yourself all the time if you want to improve.
So ultimately then, where do you see Maximus ending up? Obviously you'll be off in different institutions, but goal-wise, where and realistically, where can you know, everyone would love to go, oh well, I see it as an Oscar-winning film, and you know, but realistically, with your faith in the project, where do you see it going?
I think it's got quite a Channel 4 vibe to the whole thing, but we've got Smoke and Mirrors funding the director at the moment, so, and they're like a massive London company, so I think it could get really big. But yeah, as long as we get
excited to see it.
Yeah,
it's nice to hope that it's
going to be bought by Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be bought by?
Amazon
Yeah.
Prime.
Quite possibly.
Why not?
Coming this summer.
So, sort of to sum up then, what is it that makes this kind of project so special for you personally? What is it that makes this?
Just to be given this sort of opportunity, like when we're only like 17, 18, sort of, it's like mind blowing to be given an opportunity to work on a full-length feature film when we're this young, and we've still got like such a far path ahead of us in terms of our careers. We're only just getting started, and we're already working on something this big, which is mind blowing to think of.
And I think to have been a part of like so many different sections, like it's not just Ben doing it all and then giving us the credit. It's not at all. Like we constantly have meetings about directors and casting and locations, and like we chose the writer. Like it's all things that we've contributed to, and I think that's what's made it really special for us.
Yeah, I think part of the opportunity that we've had, like to do this, I don't think not many other people would get the opportunity at college.
No, I can't think of any colleges that would give that.
To make a feature film, it's an amazing achievement at this stage, and also just to learn about their personal story, and yeah.
Opportunity. I mean, being featured on IMDb. I mean, what 18-year-old student can say that? You know, there's not a lot out there. This is probably the only college is doing this, and it just helps a lot of people. I think it's great.
And so, just give us your names again, first names and surnames, just so that when we see you on the Oscars, we can remember who you are. Okay, what's your name again?
Henry Prentice.
Henry Prentice.
Tom Clancy.
Ellie Farnell.
Shauna Ludgate.
Okay, I think everybody, we need to remember those names because I think they're going to be huge in the future. Thank you to the production team of Maximus. Thanks very much, guys. Stick with us because we've got more fantastic talks coming up from Warren Services. Thank you.
just starting now.
Hi there. We'll make a start. Nice to see you. Welcome all. So I have with me here Richard Bridgman from Warren Services. But before we get stuck in with Richard, we've got Cassandra Fisher to introduce a video.
Want to hear me? Ooh, am I on? Lovely. So I've been talking a lot this morning about work experience and industry placements. Industry placements are very new. We are lucky enough as a college to be selected to pilot these new industry placements. To give you a little bit more information, and also for the employers to gain a little bit more information, we were lucky enough to be selected to be part of the Department of Education's case study. All the colleges who are piloting industry placements applied to do this case study. We were a winner with regards to our engineering industry placements that we have been doing. Film crew came out and videoed students doing an industry placement, and I have with me today the first draft. This is being worked on at the moment. So if anyone who can't see the screen from the employer point of view wants to come around so you can see just what an industry placement is all about.
I prefer practical learning. You learn your skills at college, and it's quite important to do an industry placement like this because it's where you use your skills. It's where you have to apply.
It just benefits me more actually doing it, because once I do it once, I know how to do it forever. If you know what I mean.
So this is actually a really good opportunity to take young people who are fresh studying in their area of business and train them within, so that when they progress and if they make a good impression at industry placement level, then progression onto higher level apprenticeships and everything can start straight away.
The main thing we're looking for is someone with the right attitude. Now, we feel we can train people in the skills that they need, but we can't train their attitude. If they've got the right attitude, we're happy to work with them. That's the key for us. If you want to get the workforce of the future, you need to engage with them at an early stage, otherwise they'll go somewhere else.
And to get your foot in the door early is a really good way to progress your career.
They can see like how you get on, how you progress, and how willing you are to learn.
Students will be more focused, more motivated, more driven, because they're doing something they actually want to do, and they're putting in the skills that they learn in college into practice, and they're actually seeing the benefits and how they work in real life situations. So it's not all about classroom simulation anymore. It's actually real life experience they're getting. And on a CV to enhance that for their future progression is valuable, really valuable.
If you have two people going for a job and see someone's done 45-day work experience in that industry, whereas the other person learned about it at college, they're going to pick the person with experience. You need experience. It might be 45 days, it might seem a bit long, you don't get paid for it, but the opportunities that come from that are well worth it.
Lovely. Excellent. Richard, tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do. Yeah.
Is this working?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? No barracking, no. Anyhow, morning everyone. Me. I'm really, really passionate about training young people, and I've pushed this up now. This is our apprentices for this year. We're employing probably just about 100 people now, but I think if you count up there, there's probably 9 there. And when I look at a picture like that, that makes me really proud because I'm doing something for these young people. But there's one special one. There's my daughter in the middle there, who's also my HR manager. So she works very closely with the college and has made this T-level a success. All the other lads are all doing different jobs or whatever. There's only 2 girls, 2 females. We want more females in engineering, so that's a good start with me. I started the business 30 years ago in an old school in Feltwell, never believing we would be the size that we are now. And it's been a fantastic journey. On there was my son, who's now my chairman, and the 2 guys who are actually on the T-level are in the audience. I might actually call them up in a minute so they can tell you about their experiences and everything like that. I do a lot of work with the college. Over the years, I've worked with lots of colleges and everything like that. I had lots of different stories to tell, but I'll keep it to myself at the moment. But now, I've been working now with the college for, probably 8 years, I would think, or whatever. And you've got a fantastic college here. You know, I mean, last year they're recognised as number 3. I want to help them make them number 1. You know, earlier in the week, we've theoretically just dug the beginning of the new centre down there, and that's going to be a fantastic addition to the college, the STEM centre. We've got other forward ideas that are going to be fantastic and really will make us number 1 in the country. I don't know how far you want me to talk about myself.
That's okay. I mean, so in terms of that fantastic video there, what would you say makes a great student placement?
Great student placement. Warren Services have been doing work experience for many, many years. When I started the business, I soon realised that we didn't have the skills in this area, so I started the apprenticeship journey. So I've been working with young people and employing them for 20, 25 years now. We also work very closely with the DWP that I'm proud of, and we've got a special project in the college at the moment where we're training people who have been out of work, but they've got a new challenge. And we're moving away from other areas now where they're not apprentices. They're coming on a 12-week course, and after that 12 weeks, they will have learned to be CNC setter operators, and then they're going out into the workplace to find fantastic jobs. But apprenticeships, I can't say enough. Most of our apprentices here are on higher levels now, and every one of our apprentices has got an opportunity to go on and get a degree with us without incurring any costs that you would when you went to university. And the key to this way is that you've got the work experience and you're already working with the company, and if you're working with the company and you're good, they're going to give you a job.
So you said about sort of if they're good. So what is it that you look for in a student in terms of their character attributes, in terms of their skill set? What is it that you would say would make a perfect student to work with?
It keeps coming up, the right attitude. That is it. You've got to have the right attitude. And if you haven't got the right attitude, you won't last 45 days. You mightn't even last 1 day because we won't mess around. But if everybody's got the right attitude, we will give them an opportunity.
So you would say that's how so from the students here today, you know, it's that attitude that makes them stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, and they've all got to be individual. I heard something earlier this morning, I've got better grades than you, but it isn't always down to grades. It's having the right attitude and the personality. We wouldn't take any one of you unless you've come and worked with us beforehand. you might think you want to be an engineer, but when you come into engineering, you might not like it. So we don't want to sign you up as an apprentice if it's not what you want to do. Also, you've got to fit in with our workforce. You come and do work experience with us. We talk to the people that are working around you, and they say, you want to get hold of that? He's a bright lad or a bright girl or something like that. So it's how you are. And also, getting there on time is one of the most important things. We've had so much problem with people, and there was always excuses, and I could write a book about excuses about why somebody doesn't turn up or whatever.
I quite agree. So can you give us some examples of students you've worked with that have proved a success for you?
Every one of these students here is a success. Otherwise, they wouldn't be still working for me now. A third of my workforce are current or ex-apprentices. We're employing 100, so that means 33% are ex-apprentices or currently apprentices, and some are in management positions now. You know, we want to enthuse our young people to stay with us. We do some fantastic projects, and so we've got to carry on exciting our people and everything like that. We've got some of the lads there, even before they're 20, they're going abroad for us all over the world, assembling machines and installing machines. But they've got to have the right characteristics. And all of these here, I'm fantastically proud of.
So did you want to speak to your students?
Yes, the two that are on the T-levels, come up here. I know you didn't know you're coming up, but you can explain your experiences, Warren Services, good and bad.
Give them a round of applause, everyone.
Realise they've been thrown into this. They didn't know they were going to come up here. I quite often do this, and this is a way of getting over. Otherwise, you start worrying about what you're going to talk about and everything like that.
So first of all, could you just tell us who you are and what the what you did on the placement?
I'm Joe. I've been doing placement at Warren since October. I've done quite a bit. I've done a bit of decking on the balconies. I've helped put up the cassettes. I've even had a little go at welding. Soffits. Yeah, I've learnt quite a bit.
My name's Devon. I've been working at Warren for 41 days now, and I've been...
It's that bad, he's counting the days.
Very well organised. But yeah, I've been working at Warren for that period of time, and I've been creating different things, like stage parts mainly, using the milling machines at Warren, gaining lots of experience, working with everyone, getting on with everyone well. Everyone helps you out, and really been improving my skills in the engineering industry.
How would you say working with Warren has kind of, obviously it's changed your skills and improved them, but how would you say it's kind of improved you as an individual, as a person? If at all?
It's improved me as a person, like my attitude, knowing that, you know, you've got to work hard if you want a decent living, and yeah, working there's definitely improved me as a person, yeah.
Obviously, there's a bit of nerves. You know, I mean, all of you, if you come up here, would be nervous. So don't worry about what you've been saying.
Working with Warren, the way it's improved me is with my confidence, and talking to new people, talking to management. You need confidence to do that. You do get nervous at the start, but getting that kind of experience is very important. Whatever you want to go on to, you need confidence, because it shows, and people look for confidence. I think that is one of the main things that Warren has done for me.
And of course, you're going to get countrywide recognition, because this video is going to go all over the country.
You'll be famous.
Yes.
So, future-wise, what do you guys? Where do you envisage? It's a horrible job interview question almost, but where do you see yourself going now? Do you see yourself carrying on with this?
I'm looking to finish my second year at this college and hopefully picking up an apprenticeship with Warren. That'd be what I'm aiming for.
And what course is it you're on here?
Level 3 engineering.
Fantastic. And are you on the same course?
Yeah.
Excellent. And where do you see yourself, Joe?
Hopefully, I want an apprenticeship as soon as possible, like as soon as it's available. Just because I'd like to get out there and into the big wide world as soon as possible. You know.
Fantastic. Okay, give these two a round of applause. You can go.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
So, how do you see, future-wise? How do you see sort of Warren? What projects, opportunities are there coming up?
There's every opportunity. We now believe that we're sending people or taking people on apprenticeships and everything like that for something that they're going to be doing in. We don't know what it's going to be in 5 or 10 years' time, but we want you young people to come to college and then come and work for us and share the experiences that you learn from other people within the college and the businesses that they're working with. We're what we call a manufacturing partner for other companies. A lot of the companies that we work for, I can't actually say the projects that we're on or whatever. We do a lot of work for the stage industry. Things go all over the world. We're currently working on 2 projects, or we've just finished one that's massive in this country for pop stars and things like that. And then other blue chip companies as well. So things are changing so much. I don't know whether in your course you've been talking about 4.0 now. This is a 4th industrial revolution where we're looking at robots and everything like that. And this is a new way forward. And sometimes we'll take projects on even though we know we're not going to make any money about it, but it gives us a way into the next generation that's going on. And these young people are helping us through that. You know, every one of these on here, just remind me, actually my daughter is doing a level 5 on HR. So we're not just looking for people in engineering, we're looking for people in design, we're looking for people in sales, accountancy, everything like that. Who have we got there? Yeah, everyone. Somebody asked me this morning, should I go on an electrical course or a mechanical course? You know, we're now looking within the college that you do a mix of both, because you can't just specialise in one particular area. We never know, because we get massive. Our business goes up and down. We get a major project, everybody's throwing everything out at it, especially if it's for the stage industry. They might have a show that's going on in 2 months' time, and we're only getting the drawings now, and we're getting the drawings as we go along. But that show, if they say, right, the next show is going to be in Manchester and it's going to be on the 5th of August, that's got to happen come what may. So sometimes we can be working 24 hours a day or whatever. But it's exciting work. And one of the lads, I actually picked up something the other day, he said he had to work all over Easter. And he said, I quite like a challenge, you know, because we've got to get it out. And that's the sort of people that we want to come for work for us. If you just want to come and do a job and then go home and everything like, you're not for us. But if you come and work for us, it's very, very exciting. If it's not exciting, you're not finding it exciting, it's not the right job for you. But all of you, if you want to come around and look around my company in Thetford, I'll show you around, even though you might not ever get a job with us or whatever. It's like with work experience. I work very closely with the DWP, that's the job centre, and they asked me to give lots of people work experience. I said, well, no, I only want to give people work experience if I can offer them a job at the end of it. But they convinced me that it was the right thing to do to give lots of people work experience. So people come to us, and we might not always be able to give them a job, but they go away having done the work experience or 45-day placements or whatever, but they can say they've done it with us.
And as we saw from the 2 students here, it's not just the skills, it's their personal development as well.
That's what it might seem silly. This excites me, working with young people, far more than earning any money. Seeing somebody come to me, all right, we're not looking necessarily now for people at 16, we're looking for people at 18, and so at 16 now, I think the young people haven't got enough about them or whatever. You know, I want you to develop more, so we're looking for people who've done their level 3, come to us on day release for a day a week or 2 days a week or whatever, work with us. you can see whether you enjoy working with us. Or probably there have been people who've worked for us before and it doesn't work out. And, I have to accept that. And if these guys here today said, oh, I didn't like this and didn't like that, I've got to take it on the chin. But then I listen to what they're saying and try to make things better.
Yeah, so it's kind of giving them, empowering them to a certain extent to have to give you feedback as well.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street.
And also throwing them today, right, come up here. That's all part of the learning program or whatever. I knew beforehand that I was going to ask them to come up here, but I didn't say anything because they would start worrying about doing it. So it's better to throw somebody into the deep end and let them swim.
So to sum up then, I mean, how would you sum up your experience, particularly, working with these students?
There's lots of companies around the country are saying 45 days is too long, and somebody said about stuffing envelopes or whatever. But then, even stuffing envelopes, that person can be the best person at stuffing envelopes and putting a stamp on square and making sure the address is on there or whatever. So I encourage all of you to go and do work experience in any area you can, because you've got to learn about life and working with people and everything like that. So I'm in favour. I was against it, and probably some ways because in education, they keep changing it. This is a new thing, T-levels. We haven't even finished. We've got problems with levies at the moment, non-levy payers, and different ways of performance or whatever. It continually changes. But now I've just learnt to make the best of it and get on with it.
That's a pretty good motto, make the best of it and get on with it.
Yes.
Okay, and on that, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I wish
Cheers.
all of you well in your chosen profession.
Thank you. Stay with us. We've got coming up Centurion Safety. Thank you.
Don't worry, I'll kill it. Oh, I definitely had it. I should have told you I was doing that.
If the soul that wrote that track gets royalties, he or she just, oh, then just once and pays. No, royalties are the company pays you could use.
Yeah, sorry, I mean, royalties, I mean, like, features are worth it. You get to see shed loads of money. Right, if you don't get to hear it. Right, if you're right.
Well, we thought, I'd ask you, we thought, I was going to hard your ask you. Oh, no.
Yeah, 11:55 and then 12:52. Well, we've only got 15 minutes. So if you delay it by 10 minutes. No, I'm not.
Should we just grab them now? Get them on the sofa and we'll just...
be one slide thing. But I don't mind that, because I owe him a lot. He was my teacher when I was at college. Now I'm bad to repayment gratitude. There's other examples of people that went to college and just came back and just like, I wouldn't anywhere close to where I am now without the course. They come back and tell their story, which is really not hard. I like doing my time with Calvary at the front of the camera. My little bit was I can just flip around. It's really strange. No, you've got really wrong with it. I might just show what they do sometimes. I don't know how much the next might not be, but 12 o'clock time, but it's been delayed for another 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah.
Stacey
Whiteman.
Victoria Stacey. Central Business. I just said presentation prize for action. Did they have a present?
I'll ask them.
Did you just say presentation again?
Okay, everyone, we'll be making a start in a few minutes. Please come down and take a seat to watch us. Don't sit on the sidelines. Come and sit down. Okay, we'll make a start. Got some people coming through. I'd like to invite to the stage Stacey Whiteman of Centurion Safety. Thank you.
Are we on?
Okay.
We are on.
So, Stacey, first of all, just tell us a little bit about yourself, about who you are and what you do.
Stacey, I am Head of People Experience at Centurion Safety Products. Centurion Safety Products are a PPE manufacturer, so we protect the most important asset you have. So everything to do with head, eyes, face, ears, respiratory. And we manufacture in Thetford. We're 140 years old, a company this year. So we're not going anywhere, very well established, going places, global. And my role is predominantly similar to the functions of a HR manager. Changed it over to people experience because I kind of felt that was more about what I wanted us to be achieving, is that people experience at work.
So people experience, kind of, expand on that a little bit. What do we mean by people experience?
Okay. Being in the HR field for a lot of years, having generally been seen as almost the headmistress, never a nice feeling when people have that kind of dread almost of, oh, I've got to go and see HR. That's not actually what we do as individuals. As a profession, that's not what we do, and that's not how we like to be viewed. And having spoken to lots of different people in lots of different industries, it is all about people's experience at work. People's experience at work should be an energetic, positive one they thrive in, not one that they dread. So I kind of see my role as the person that helps that, makes sure that our place is the place that they want to be, they enjoy being there, they spend most of their lives there at the end of the day. So their experience at work is very important, and my job is kind of to help that.
So what skills and experience got you to this job? Did you, as a young child, dream of being a...
No, would be the answer to that. No, I didn't, if I'm honest with you. I actually love people. Basically, that's the grounding for my job. Regardless of anything else, my job is a love for people. So because I have that love for people, want to see people succeed, want to help people, want to do everything I can to make sure that people are doing the best they possibly can. And if they're not, how can I help them be the best they can? So I see my job as that. So no, I didn't dream of doing that. All I wanted to do was do a job where I helped people, and I've kind of fallen into that over the years.
Thinking of our students here, and we've heard a lot this morning about attitude. What would you say the best attributes that someone can have?
Having been to the college a few times now, and I've done a number of different sessions with different students in the classroom, talking to them not just about opportunities, but what they need to do to become the employees of the future. It is a lot, I've heard it a lot, I'm going to repeat it really, it is a lot about attitude. It is a lot about positivity, how you actually put yourself across as an individual to an employer is very important. That first impression when you first walk into somebody's workplace is very, very important. How you then maintain that through the workplace is important. So work placements, apprenticeships, all those opportunities where you can showcase who you are, but also learn behaviours. Think about how you actually perform and how you are in a workplace is very important because it's completely different to school and college. And those things and what you learn there are just as important. So the chats I had with the students here, we talked a lot about that. Even in the classroom, talked a lot about their behaviour in the classroom while I was there, and how as an employer, what am I going to remember? Am I going to remember the students that are listening to me, paying attention, asking questions, being positive? Or am I going to remember the student that's chatting in the back, putting his feet up on the table? We want to remember things for the right reasons, not for the negative reasons.
And do you have a project in mind for the future?
We have lots going at the moment because we're a changing company. We're growing, we're global. We've got lots happening. We're going through a massive change process, so we have huge opportunities coming up. So we've got business administration, HR projects coming up, which would be great placements for people on business admin courses. We're looking at engineering. We're looking at IT. We're looking at design. So there's lots of different opportunities for students here, which I've been talking about today and when I've been in before. And because there's lots of opportunities in companies in this local area, whether they're manufacturing, engineering, HR, IT, finance, there's so many. Really, the students need to put their feelers out locally. There's so many opportunities that they're potentially missing. And as business, it's our opportunity to make sure we tell them about those.
And you had a student, Tom, who was with you for work experience?
Yeah, we started a project. I'm actually chair of the HR group for the Thetford Business Forum. Took on that opportunity this year. Speaking to Andrew, who's disappeared. Andrew, there he is. He disappeared as soon as he thought his name was going to be mentioned. Would you like to come up, Andrew? Hi. Did you? Just in case. Talking with Andrew, who actually attends the HR forum meetings as well, the HR group meetings, about opportunities for work placement students, and we discussed the possibilities of a business administration opportunity, working with that group, making it more established and how we can take it forward. So that's one of the projects we've been looking at and working on, which will evolve over the year, and I'm hoping it won't just be one opportunity. It could be one of many opportunities with the group. The HR group itself is made up of a group of HR leaders throughout the Breckland region. We do have a lot of business owners also that attend the forums. The DWP attends. We have recruitment agencies come in, so it's lots of opportunity to learn lots of different avenues of business.
And what was it that made Tom sort of the ideal candidate for you?
I think there was an element of what he wanted to achieve and what he wanted to do. He was very enthusiastic about learning how you function in a business, how you actually evolve into a business. He wasn't sure what he wanted to do, whether it was actually marketing, whether it was a straight business opportunity or finance. This would have given him the opportunity to see some of those roles and also to decide maybe where he wanted to go. So we'd start off at a basic level with basic business administration, and that could evolve into something else.
So, Andrew, what did you want to sort of comment about the project?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? But when we have, we're plugged in, I think, aren't we? Yeah. When we have projects out in rural areas like Thetford, then we've got students based here who might not be living in Thetford. It's a real challenge. It can be a challenge, kind of, and how to combat the problems of rurality, I suppose, is what we're talking about. How to make sure we can get a student from one place to another. And I know that's been a bit of a challenge so far, hasn't it? We haven't quite managed to join up with the particular student we were talking about.
I think the best thing that we can do for any of the work placement students is make it as easy for them as possible, but making sure also that they have to put the effort and work in. But we've got to help them. This is all new to them. So it's our job as a business, I suppose, and the college and Andrew's help and various other people to make sure that we make these opportunities enticing for them, but not so difficult that they think, actually, do you know what, I really can't be bothered.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there is also maybe a profile raising thing about what a sort of a people experience HR department actually does, because there may be some misconceptions about that.
I would agree. There's an education piece there, definitely. And if I'm honest with you, I've had to do that in my own company, educate people about what my role is. My role actually is not as the disciplinarian, manage a payroll and do your holidays. There's actually lots of other things that my role actually does. The importance of aligning the people strategy with the business strategy is very important. Without a clear people strategy, the business won't succeed. So making sure you've got the right people in the right places doing the right roles, but making sure also that those individuals are happy in their workplace, looking after their well-being, their mental health, all those things, learning development, making sure that they are going to succeed. We give them the right tools to do their job, and I don't just mean a physical tool, I mean actually the skills. They've got the right skills to do the job, and that's just as important. You could put anybody in a role, but if you don't develop them, they're never going to succeed and they're not going to help the business move forward. So there's a dual purpose there, but my role encompasses all of those things, as well as looking after the day-to-day running of the people side of the business. So how we drive ourselves forward starts with the people.
And what do you think that Tom will take forward? Working with you, what will he take forward into his working life? Do you think?
The number of things we've discussed is around structure and planning. I think in student life and in a work life, you've got to have an element of being able to plan, getting to work on time, all those things, planning your day forward. How do I travel? Do I get there on time? Is that bus going to get me there at the right time? The structure of your day. I'm hoping that he'll take some of those things away, because those things will carry him forward for the rest of his life. Building some confidence, how you communicate with people, and also how you act in the workplace is just as important as everything else. Like I said, it's completely different to school and college. There's a way of behaving. Enjoy what you do. I love a good banter, the same as everybody else, and I love my job, enjoy it, very passionate about what I do. But you've got to have an element of enthusiasm, but with the right behaviour.
So, sort of the students who are here, what advice would you give them in terms of, making them somebody who would be snapped up by a company like yourselves?
Most of the students that I've been really enthusiastic about working with are the ones that have put themselves forward. Like I said, I've been into the college a couple of times, and the times that I've been here, when I've left, within an hour, I've had an email from a couple of students to say, thank you very much for coming, taking the time, here's my CV, I don't know if you have an opportunity right now. But little things like that, I will sit up and take notice of those individuals.
Those two students in the audience, or have they gone?
Were.
We were hoping to call them up.
Billy and Ethan, I'm not sure if they're here or if they've had to leave.
They've gone.
No,
Okay.
they've left, which is a real shame. They were part of the level 3 engineering course that I came and spoke to, but their enthusiasm through the chat and asking questions, as well as then approaching me afterwards, really made me sit up and take notice, which is great. I would say also, when they do come into the business, that first impression. How do they actually look, as well as how do they come in? How are they confident? Are they? So building that within them doesn't necessarily come straight away, but the work placements can help with that. As employers, we have a responsibility to help with that and build the employees of the future.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Stacey Whiteman and Andrew Wheeler. Thank you. I'm going to move straight on to our next guest, and this is AB Performance. I'd like to invite to the stage, I can see them hovering over there, Andy Bates and Leon Wild. Thank you very much. So, I believe we have a video. Should we watch the video first? Let's watch the video first. Seen that one? This video. Wow. Dramatic stuff. So tell us a little, introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about the project.
Okay, my name is Andy Bates and I own AB Performance Limited. Didn't start in engineering, fabrication or racing. I was always going to be a vet, and then I left school and I joined the fire service. So it just goes to show that plans don't always go the way you think they are. Did 26 years in the fire service, raced bikes, raced sidecars, raced cars, ran out of talent, big accident, ended up in hospital for 18 months, and then when I came out, fire service career was finished, so I set this business up because this is the only other thing I really knew how to do. And we've been in business now 16 years. We produce 5 different sports racing cars. Some are road legal, some aren't, and we go from entry-level £30,000 cars right up to LMP2, which would be, for us, £100,000 spec car. So it just depends on budget. I employ 5 people, all of them with long motorsport backgrounds, but we're now getting our head round the fact that you guys are the future. New skills, new ideas, brought up with new technology, so we're looking to see how we take these cars to the next level. And so that's what our involvement with the college has been all about, really.
I'm Leon Wild. I'm the head of automotive. So some of our students are here to try and embarrass me, I see. Yeah, I've been working here around 6 years. I've also come from industry. I came from BMW, and from then I've got into teaching, and now I've worked my way up. But we wanted to have something a bit more exciting for the students, so we've working with AB Performance to bring that with Place 21, but also as a cross-college project, which is what it's all been about.
So how did it come about, this project? Where did it come from?
So Andrew Wheeler came and just happened to bump into me and talked about how could we link other areas, sort of media, engineering, fabrication and motorsport, and we came up with this idea that we'd perhaps do like a kit car, and then we knew that AB Performance worked with the college already, or had already got roots with us, so we then sort of got talking.
Yeah, we brought a car up here, and I was talking to Andrew and basically said, look, it's more than just a fabrication job. We're looking at graphic design for the liveries. Racing cars got to look good. It's got to look like it's doing 100 mile an hour when it's standing still. It's a very passion-driven sport and arena to be in. So there's all kinds of different skill sets required, right through from logistics, design, CAD, engineering, welding, sales, promotion, and then actually running the cars at the racetrack, spannering, setting them up, working with the race drivers. So there were so many skill sets and so many crossovers, we felt that it was a project that had more than one string to the bow.
Yeah, we've heard sort of quite a lot today about how within any industry that we assume that it's one thing, you know, so that obviously the engineering automotive side of it is kind of first and obvious, but tell me about how other people can get involved.
Yeah, so motorsport itself is got such a vast sort of area of different jobs that can be linked with that. You know, you've got your media, you've got also catering. You know, you're going to have places to eat on site and you know, areas where people can stay and that kind of thing. You've also got your news teams. You've got engineers that are making things that aren't even at the racetrack, and then you've got people that are working on the vehicles at the racetracks as well.
And so I understand that this is kind of this isn't a project that's done and dusted and finished and on the shelf. So in terms of if you like, the timeline of this project, where would you say you were?
Well, I would say we're still we're building on the project. Just today we were talking with engineering about how we could help develop some parts for the future, so that's only just sort of come around as something that we'd like to now push into. But yeah, I think it's going to be an ongoing project for a number of years. Hopefully, you know, we can really grow.
We're now looking at potential collaboration with the college from an aerodynamics point of view. We're working with a number of aerodynamicists now on the new LMP car. we've worked with guys who work with Ferrari, Williams, McLaren. That's the next level, and it's really important to us that the new generation of technology, the new CAD programs, it's one thing being a designer, but you have to learn that once you've designed that component, it's got to be built. So it's no good designing something that looks fantastic, would actually theoretically do the job, if we can't make it, if we don't have a process to make it. So there's some very, very clever people involved, and we're hoping that the next bank of clever people coming in, coming from the faces here at the college, and teach us a thing or two about how it should be done.
So what is ultimately the end point? What would, I was sort of talking to the team of Maximus earlier, a feature film, and we were saying, is it getting an Oscar or getting it on Netflix? What's your end goal on this? Will it win?
I think the end goal is to have a built product. However, also to instill that enjoyment with the students. So give them something to drive and strive to give them like a project that they can really get stuck into. And I think I believe that's happening as we speak. So
I think, yeah, very much. And I'd like to pick up that when we end up with an end product, when we mention superbike power to people, there's a perception that these are toy cars. Whereas in actual fact, what we're building here is something, these cars lap faster than a British touring car. They'll lap faster than a McLaren P1. 500,000-pound supercars can't get within 7 seconds of them. These are very, very fast cars. It's my thoughts that when this car is finished, I'd like to stick a racing driver in it and then run it with college support, and let's see if we can't win some races with it. So that'd be quite an exciting thing to do, I think.
That would be awesome. The car is here, is it not?
yeah, just outside, just through those doors.
Who's seen the car? One person. Should we go out and have a look? If you would like, you are feel free to turn your mics off, and we will end the talk by saying anyone who wishes to go out and have a look at the car, it's just out there. Those doors aren't alarmed, I believe, are they? Right, they've unalarmed the doors. So yeah, go outside, have a look at the car, everyone. But thanks to Leon and Andy. Okay. Take a seat, guys. Stay, please. We've got one more talk, for you this afternoon. Just a quick say, it's been really really pleasure to host this day today. But our final, and we'll call you the headliner, shall we? Our headliner is Ola from Just Another Label. So give him a round of applause, everybody. Are you on?
I think so. Yeah, here we go.
I can hear you now.
Here we go.
Okay, take a seat. So,
Okay. I'm going to take a seat. Do you mind if I take my shoes off as well?
Go ahead.
Is that okay?
You
And put
do
my,
that.
That's a really comfy sofa.
It is a comfy
Hold on.
sofa.
No holes in my socks. That's not embarrassing. Okay. Oh, it's 5
Can someone get him a cup of tea?
Oh, I've got a glass of water
Oh,
here.
you've got a
so that's
glass of
all right, that's all
water.
good,
Right,
yeah.
lovely.
So I'm just going
Hot water bottle, anything like that.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all good.
You
Yeah.
can do whatever you
You
like.
can do the same. Yeah.
I'm
we're
not
amongst
taking my
friends, no one
shoes
else
off.
is
I
here.
don't
That's
do
all
that.
right, all good. Yeah.
Okay, so Ola, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been doing.
Me, well, my name's Ola from a company called Just Another Label. We're primarily a music publishing company. We're an award-winning music publishing company. We won an Ivor Novello for Best Original Music for Television, working with young people in Felton's Young Offenders Institution, where we produced a soundtrack for a documentary. Since then, we pride ourselves with working with young people. We sort of like make music for the media, so our music's played on most of the TV networks around the world, because we've been doing it for over 30 odd years. We also produce promotional videos for small businesses, and we work with West Suffolk College through Place 21 to give the students some work experience, and also to document some of the work that Place 21 and the students are doing. And this is a strange one, and people ask me, why do you do First Aid? You do music, video. Where does First Aid come into it? So music and video, music videos, they go hand in hand.
It's a bit obvious crossover.
Obvious crossover. Then we did First Aid because of the video and e-learning, so there was a natural, we had all the resources, so, and it's something that I was passionate about, and also we think it's really, really important for young people in this country to learn about life-saving skills such as First Aid. So there we go.
Absolutely, and probably will save your life before a music video will. I don't know, it depends.
It depends on the video, and who's in it, and what they're doing.
It's interesting because you were talking, we were having a chat over there earlier about, you were saying about you created some music for something and people wanted it quite dark, but actually you found because that wasn't the perception of young people that you were kind of wanting to portray.
Oh, right, yes, so that was for a documentary called Felton Sings. So we worked with two production companies. One was called Century Films, and the other one was Film for Records in London. And then we did quite a lot of work with young people, disadvantaged young people back in London, that, just street kids that were just in trouble, just not getting anywhere in life, and refugees and people who had just come from war-torn countries. So we had a good understanding of the problems that young people of that day were going through. And because of that, we got this job to produce the soundtrack for this documentary. So we went into I won't say prison, I'd say young offenders institution, not to marginalise them. And then we met the young people, we spoke to them, and then we found out, we just find out some of the lives that they've lived. I mean, one was born in prison, so what help. What chance in life does he have? And his mother was in and out of prison. Another guy, his mum was a drug addict, so he was a heroin. And then, although the brief was for us to make the documentary, the music dark, we said, well, let's paint these young people in a brighter light, and we made the music uplifting. As a result, the documentary became more accessible to more people to watch. They had to change a lot of the things that they were filming. Then it won a BAFTA, and it also then went on to win an Ivor Novello.
Excellent. So what was the Place 21 initiative Forward Moves? What was that about?
Place 21 initiative Forward Moves, it was a partnership project like Place 21 does between private and public sector with the Greenlight Trust just down there in Hershore.
You're looking at me like I know.
I just get there. With digital technology now, you just put a postcode in and there you go, you're there somehow. Yeah, as if by magic. Yeah, so they do conservation. They've got an outdoor area where young people can go to learn about the environment. They do cooking outside, they learn how to light fires, they make dens and so on and so forth. So it's a partnership between the college, the Greenlight Trust and ourselves. And then the students were taken from the Proactive Learning guys, who are, I would say, disadvantaged young people for one reason or another, to give them some kind of activities, and also to get them out and about, and also the Princess Trust Group, and then EAL students as well.
Excellent. So we've heard that there's sort of become a theme.
There
that's
was,
kind of teased
young
out.
man. Yeah, there was. If you've got. Would you like to see a video with these guys and what they were doing?
Rather
yeah, do you want to have a
talking.
watch, see what it's about? Yeah. Better than sitting. The thing about this, this is one of the videos, but in the workplace, most workplaces, use young people. You have to sit on your butts most of the time. Yeah, but there's a thing in the workplace now we call kind of well-being in the workplace, where sitting down isn't always the best thing. So what these young people got from it, they thrived being outside, being in the environment and being outside of the classroom, and the things that they can learn outside of the classroom and the transferable skills. So would you mind, so am I taking over? Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's all
You
good.
take
Okay,
over, I
carry
don't
on,
mind.
young man. Thank you.
College is very amazing, very fantastic. Why?
All of the footage of this video were taken by the young people who were not media students. It was freezing cold that day. See the snow?
My favorite firelighter and making money.
Nice. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Really good. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your job and how long you've been in this job?
So I work here at the Green Light Trust. I've been here about 2.5 years. And my job, I bring people out to the woods. We make stuff out of the trees. So we cut down a tree, we harvest the woods, we get our firewood and we carve things out of it.
Today I have found amazing. Learn something. I have found amazing. I have found
Which character strengths have you improved most?
Optimism and ambition. I feel like I'm definitely more ambitious after doing this. I've realised how much I am capable of.
Well, what do you like? Zoo, make a fire, getting good.
Highlights, I think Daniel doing the cooking, cooking lunch from scratch, I think was really brilliant. The shelter, seeing them all work as a team, building the shelters individually, being motivated to make things like spoons and then seeing them work together with the fire. And then today, being the last day, them all doing it just by themselves, without instruction, was really incredible. I think the whole thing's been brilliant.
And there we go.
That's fantastic. Well done.
Well,
round of applause for the video.
You say well done. That all of the content of that, apart from the captions, were captured by young people who had never had any media skills themselves. So they did interviewing and prepared it all, did the filming, and so on.
And presumably that then opens up something that is a possible career that they might not have even thought of.
Yes, there was one. There's one individual. Well, quite a few individuals, but there's one individual. I won't mention his name. That. Yeah, he's a challenging young person, but he is so good at interviewing. He's so charismatic, and he's a musician and so on. And he's got. Yeah, it just opened his eyes up to the possibilities of what other things that he can do. And if I had the opportunity, I would employ him. And actually, I would have given him your job, to interview me, because he's. I'm not saying that you're not any good, but I did ask Andrew, but he just wasn't available. So yeah. But there you go.
And absolutely, I think that particularly with the arts, and I know that I can see some of my students here, some art students. It is a growth industry. And it was in the stage actually this morning that it's just overtaken I think it's agriculture in the amount of money it brings in.
Was it 92 billion or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's sort of it's huge and it's growing and also I think it does give young people that ownership of a skill that they find almost within themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, you know. I mean, when I first started in this industry, I started on a record stall selling records. Then I started distributing, then I set up a record label, a publishing company. I started making dance music, happy hardcore, techno, drum and bass, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if any of you are familiar with any of that.
Happy hardcore and
yeah.
drum and bass.
Drum and bass, yeah.
Blank
you like
faces.
that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we did all that kind of stuff. But what I've learned from my musical journey is that, you know, talent is God-given. We all have a talent one way or another, and you know, and it's just kind of like nurturing, finding that talent, whether it is something creative or academic or whatever. But if you've got a God-given talent, then use it. But the other thing I would say that where I've lacked in myself and what the college and being in an institution like this, you should all ensure English is so important. We don't know, as I travel around the world to do what I do and sell music around the world. I remember, and then wherever I go, whether I be in Japan and I'm talking, and there's a meeting between a Japanese person and a Chinese person, or someone from another place in Europe, they're going to speak English. Yeah, they won't be speaking Japanese or Mandarin. They're going to speak English because it is the language of the world. Not because of us.
No.
Because of the Americans, really. Yeah, and all the American programs. But yeah, English is really important. And if you are in the media industry, don't just look in the UK. The world is your oyster. We market and sell most of our products around the world.
Absolutely, and I think that would exist. Yeah, media, film, television, and even theatre. You know, still exporting it.
The English language is phenomenal, and we should be taking more advantage of that. What with Brexit, I mean, no one's mentioned the B word. In the last couple of days.
We've managed to get through 48 hours nearly with that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's going to be one of the biggest challenges to use young people is how do we handle Brexit? What are you guys, that's your future. What have we done? What have we done? What have we done?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
And it is an election day today, so...
is it?
Is it today?
Is
it's
it today?
Local elections, so people... Yeah, it's vote day. Not election. Yeah, election. So you can go out and vote. You can change things. So I would sort of say, to sum up with you, what future-wise, what are you up to? What's your next? What are you doing next?
What am I doing next? That's a I am actually all over the place doing things. Well, I'm hoping to continue with where the college is concerned. We're hoping to do another Forward Moves project with the next set of students. Also, the Charles Burrows guys. We're hoping to do another video for that centre, and continue working with young people and giving them opportunity, giving them an insight into the media industry and what there is there basically.
Absolutely. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Thank you too.
So that kind of concludes the 2 days that we've had here for this Place 21 kind of celebration, and I'd just sort of like to thank Andrew and all the organisers of this event to say that it's been really thrilling and really informative. Andrew, did you want to finalise with a couple of words?
It's really just to thank so much all the businesses who have participated. So thank you, Neil. A lot of them have gone now, but Neil, thank you very much. Steve and Richard from CAMVAC, thank you very much for being here. And thank you, students, for listening and for participating in this event. We'll do it again for sure. But thank you very much. It wouldn't have worked without you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.